this is an image of a staircase somewhere in some alleyway. So what's the first thing that comes to your mind when you see this kind of a staircase in real life or in the image? What is the first thing that comes to your mind? Don't think a lot, just write it in the chat, or just unmute yourself and let me know. What's the first thing that's come to your mind? Minecraft. We have a gamer. Cool. Minecraft. Anyone else? Creative stair. Good. Good. Crisscross. Excellent. Anything else? Anyone? Am I making you sleepy? But okay. Feel free to let me know if you are feeling sleepy as well. Let's dive into the thing. So it is a perspective. So as Anushtup here saw individual point of view, excellent. So as Anushtup, place where we can gossip, attention gaining, great answers, guys. Superb. So Anushtup saw Minecraft in this place. It's a building game, if you know. Shayun Senapati said creative stair. Another Shayun said crisscross. So these are the different answers, and all of you are right in your own way. For an older person who saw this stair for the first time, maybe they think, "अरे बाप रे, मुझे इतना सारा सीढ़ी चढ़ना पड़ेगा अभी, घुटनों में दर्द है." या फिर if two kids saw that this, they may decide to think of a game. Like for example, there is person A and person B. So the game should be like person A has to only step on the parts with the color blue, and person B has to step on the parts only with the color yellow, and they have to go all the way up the stairs. They can turn it into a game. So it's all about a perspective. What you see. And this does not this is not only limited to the scope of user experience, design thinking, whatever. Leave those aside. This is applicable to like the theory of life itself. Each situation can be seen from different point of views, different vantage points, and you will get a different sense of the situations, the cases, whatever you are seeing or feeling. So let's see a real life example. I mentioned a game, right? They actually applied the same. This was a long staircase. And let me fast forward it. People were generally taking lifts instead of stairs to avoid that many stairs. But let's see how they have done it. So this is like the real life implication of whatever that, like the perspective thing. You have to just think differently, think from a different point of view, think from different vantage points, think from like just fill in the shoes of any other person rather than yourself and see it from their point of view. So with a focus on people, and the focus is with reduced opacity to put the focus on people. So that's a bad dad joke, but with a focus on people. So for example, if you are what can I say, if you are solving a problem as simple as, let's say, what can I say, okay, this heat, the immense heat that we are facing. So this heat is affecting different people or different groups of people in different ways. It is affecting kids in a different way. It is affecting people of our age in a different way, our parents in a different way, and our grandparents in a different way. So there may or may not be the same solution to all of these problems related to these different people. Whenever you are trying to solve something or propose a solution or think something, you are not only thinking about you yourself. You are not the user. Keep this thing in mind while you are working with user experience, user interface, human computer interaction, whatever the term is. You yourself are not the user, or even if you are, you don't put your like feelings or expressions at the very first, because that would have a certain bias. Instead, think of the other people. You are never solving anything for one single person. Even if you are launching a new pen to a market, as like maybe a gel pen, maybe a ball pen, maybe a fountain one, but you are releasing to the market for like groups of people. Maybe it has a specific focus to corporate people, like it is very exotic looking and like very costly and like what can I say, like very exotic. You have only business people in mind for that particular pen, but there are other person who may have the monetary ways to afford it. So you have to even 1% think about that other person as well, and not technically not 1%, give your full thought to both the categories, but I am saying for example. So that's not ever for one people, it's always for a group of people, right? That is the thing, like you don't have to think about just one person, you have to like give importance to all the focus groups. Like they may be from different demographics, they may have different language, different culture, they may speak different language, they may have some kind of ailment, they may have some kind of special abilities, or they like for example color blindness. So you have to think for all those different people, for all those user groups. Then only you can arrive at a solution that serves all of them. Then only you can arrive at a good experience for your user. Then we create options. Is there like anyone who has not gone to shopping with the parents, especially your mothers and sisters, like sari shopping or shopping before any wedding or family events? Is there anyone who like, or like, how many of you like get bored while doing such kind of thing and while just sitting there and the other person is shopping? No one. Me. There are people. Cool, cool. So there is always a positive side to it. So if you think when they go shopping, what they say, I'm saying it in Bengali because it's like I am used to hearing it in Bengali and it sounds more fun. Like, দাদা এই রেঞ্জের মধ্যে একটু শাড়ি দেখান তো এই কালার. This is the specific template of the thing that they say. And then the shopkeeper pulls down loads and loads of saris from the like their display, and this kind and that kind, jamdani, benarosi, hand, and there are many kinds. Obviously it's not where you go, it's about with whom, because like if it's your own partner, that's a different thing, and you may, if you are not like at least 50% interested in it, you may face a breakup, but that's a separate thing. So this then display the options that are there. Then your mothers or sisters or you yourself maybe think about the event that you will be attending. What kind of attire would be appropriate for that event? What kind of color would be appropriate? For example, in wedding, in haldi ceremony, people prefer to wear yellow or orange stuff, and there are certain kinds of sarees they prefer to wear as well, for example. So these are the different options. So unless you have options, you won't know which one is the right, because only when you have options you can try it one after another. You can like just put it over your shoulder and see yourself in the mirror, how does it look on you, right? So you have to have options. So creating options is a must, however silly those options may be. Because yeah, ooh, we got options can be like, it's can be interpreted as ridiculous, but it can lead to many possibilities as well. Then it's a continuous loop of doing, thinking and doing. Basically iterate. So then you got the options here. For example, let's say you are launching a market to a like pen to a market, and you have the different designs and different kinds of pen in mind. So then you at least release some amount of each pens in the market and test it with the user. How are their feedbacks? How are they feeling? What amount of them are using it? Which specific category is using it? How are they using it? All of that. Then you will get like feedback from that. Like, okay, for example, in case of sari, না এটার like এটা বাজেটের বাইরে হয়ে যাচ্ছে বা এই কালারটা ক্যাট করছে. So the same kind of thing goes for pens as well. Like, it's not smooth enough, it may be leaking some amount, or like when you are writing like too much fast, then it may be leaking some amount of ink. So these are the feedbacks that you get. That, and then you collect the feedbacks and improve what you have done already, like those options, apply those feedbacks to the options respectively, and get the modified versions of them. And when you iterate through it again and again and again, at after a certain amount of time, you will arrive at one or two final answers, and then you would have a clarity. Okay, this was the problem, and okay, this is serving all the things that I want, because one size never fits it all, but you can arrive to the closest most suitable solution. So those feedbacks are that much important. You have to get the feedbacks, you have to refine your thing, you have to make the prototype again and then test it again. This is the principle, and this is the like engineering principle as well. If you go by any model of SDLC, especially the modern ones and agile ones as well, like you will face this and you have to go through it, because then only you can arrive at a good solution. Okay, up till now it's clear. Should I slow down? Is there any question? Anything? Feel free to speak up. No questions? Okay. Uh, are you guys understanding whatever I am saying? Is it clear? Yes, Indrajit. Any questions? Okay, Tomal is asking, isn't it difficult to design without bias? Obviously, it's really difficult. It's really difficult to design without bias, because like the whole idea of user experience is dependent on the user, right? And dependent on the, like, dependent on human, and human have like different tendencies of biases. There may be recency bias, like the most recent option that you saw is the most like become stuck in your head, and it becomes a favorable one. Or there can be bias regarding, like, you are thinking about two three options, but you can't just arrive at one solution, and you are just overthinking it, and you ultimately get tired and just choose a random one. That is another kind of bias. Or there may be like many kinds of biases, but you have only when you know about those biases, then only you can be aware of them. You can yourself keep it in check. Okay, I am not going by any of these biases. I am making it, like, I am testing it with the user again and again, so that I don't have any of my own biases reflect on the product or the solution. Rather than, like, taking those feedbacks will help you refine through your biases. That is why the feedback thing is so important in all of engineering, all of design, all of everything. Like, there are much like complex theories regarding biases and the overall decision making and decision making process, and like that's a whole session in itself. But for now, preliminary, does it answer your question? Okay, yeah. Indrajit, any question? uh, I hope not. If there is, feel free to just post it in the chat and I may address it later. So, how to do it? How to UX, how to UX basically, or like as it is UX, UI UX 101, and like how to UI UX 101. So basically UI stuff is, as I personally like to say, UI can be get done with. You can do UI, but you have to understand UX. UX has to be embedded into the very soul of yourself. Then only you can make something a good, make a good solution, make a good experience. So how to do UX, or how to do like design thinking or design, how to do that 101. So these are all the different frameworks. Again, like basically there are 4 to 5 steps, and like they like different like organizations, like this is from IDEO, this model is from Google, this is from IXJF, this is from Stanford. So they have their different models, there are different frameworks, there are different structures of this whole process. But and like each of the steps have different name, but all of them come down to one single thing. uh, but first a question, before throwing it out of the window, whatever you all know and whatever of the frameworks you all just saw, any idea if it's a linear process or it's a loop, like the whole design thinking or UX stuff? Does it always go linearly, all the frame? Maybe there are 5 or 6 steps or 4 steps. Does all the steps come one after another and in a linear way, or you can go from any step to the other? Tomal says yes. Yes to linear way, are you saying? Linear, okay. Shonok says loop. Yoproto says loop. Prabhujo says loop. Okay, yeah. Team loop wins. Claps for you. Where is the react? Yeah. Claps for team loop. Jumbled actually. Now Shonok has the right answer. So each of the steps you can jump from any one to the other, empathizing to define. And while you are empathizing with the user and getting their feelings, and then you are trying to define it, after you define, you may think, okay, let me recheck if I have missed on any other feelings that I tracked from the empathize section. Or then when you go to properly ideate, you may think, acha, let me revisit like the definition what I have made. Like if the definition can be refined or reframed in another way. So in this way, then you go to prototype, then you go to testing, and then again go to like back to the empathizing, define any other state. So the first time it is a linear loop, rightly Onustup said. First time it is a linear loop, like it is a linear way, like you go from empathize to test in a linear way. From the second iteration itself, it goes in a jumbled manner. You can jump from any of the step to the other at any point of time. So after you throw it all the window, what all of it boils down to, boils down to this: you just research, you form a concept, and you design. Basically the photographers or whatever, like whoever uses the mobile camera, you have to adjust the focus to shoot whatever you are trying to capture, right? Then only you can click the, like tap the shutter wala button, then only you will get the picture. So that research is, for example, in the photo case, understanding the environment that you are shooting something in. For example, a squirrel, you have to understand the environment it is in, the way it is moving around, the way it is playing, or wherever its like home is, or in a tree or whatever, wherever it is. That is the research or groundwork. Then only you will have a concept, okay, in this position or this frame, I can get a best shot using whatever device I have. And then only you will capture the picture, right? So this is all about like all the uncertainty to focus. Am I clear? Is this concept clear? It's all about just simplifying whatever you have understood, whatever you have learned, forming sentences with them, forming a definition with them, forming a solid idea with them, and then moving on to hands-on work. Or if I can say, like there are these, again, like there are thousands of frameworks. They may look similar, they may not, or they may not be like anything similar. But yep, this is the only thing that you have to keep in mind. You have to go from research, you have to take inspiration, you have to observe, then only you can understand. Then from the understanding to the ideation process is the synthesis thing. Then you go into implementation, testing, iterating, and solutions. Cool. So it's empathy and not sympathy. I have not mentioned sympathy, I have mentioned empathy, right? So I will just quickly speed up the video and show it.
Connection, sympathy. Studied professions, very diverse professions where empathy is relevant, and came up with 4 qualities of empathy. Perspective taking, the ability to take the perspective of another person or recognize their perspective as their truth. Staying out of judgment, not easy when you enjoy it as much as most of us do. Recognizing emotion in other people and then communicating that. Empathy is feeling with people. And to me, I always think of empathy as this kind of sacred space when someone's kind of in a deep hole and they shout out from the bottom and they say, I'm stuck, it's dark, I'm overwhelmed. And then we look and we say, hey, I'm down. I know what it's like down here, and you're not alone. Sympathy is, ooh, it's bad, no, you want a sandwich? Empathy is a choice, and it's a vulnerable choice, because in order to connect with you, I have to connect with something in myself that knows that feeling. Rarely, if ever, does an empathic response begin with at least. And we do it all the time, because you know what? Someone just shared something with us that's incredibly painful, and we're trying to silver lining it. I don't think that's a verb, but I'm using it as one. We're trying to put the silver lining around it. So I had a miscarriage. Oh, at least you know you can get pregnant. I think my marriage is falling apart. At least you have a marriage.
So I hope you get the concept of empathy, right? So basically it is the ability to understand other people's feelings, what they are feeling, get into their shoes, face their environment, face their experience, whatever they are going through, and try to get the feeling inside yourself, the same feeling. Try to connect with them. Whenever you try to understand that feeling, you will connect with the person, you will connect with your user, and then it is bound to lead you to a good solution. That whatever you are trying to do, it is bound to lead you down a good path. So yeah, I think we are a bit short on time, but I will speed up a bit, but let me know if there are any questions. So how to empathize, right? You have to observe and listen in context. For example, you are trying to design some kind of a classroom, a digital classroom. You have to firstly observe the students in a classroom, in a normal classroom, how they interact with each other, how they interact with the teacher, how they interact with the current whiteboard that they have, how they take down notes, all of that stuff. And feel like, be present in that environment, attend the class with the children, and get the feel of whatever they are feeling. Look towards the extremes, look towards the very front benchers who are like maybe teacher's pet, maybe not, but who are the most attentive listeners, and look towards the backbenchers who generally like to fool around in the class. Explore analogous experiences, explore something similar. For example, if you're making a car simulator, like try to ride a car, try to drive a car yourself. Then only you get the feel of whatever the actual experience is, whatever the actual feel is, and then only you will understand whatever you are trying to solve. Then immerse yourself. Immersing yourself is like being present at the moment, just at any environment, with any product, any solution, anything. You have to just present, be actively present and attentive to every feeling, every sound, every sight, everything. Okay, so then only you can just like empathize, because people don't always say what they do or why they do it. So it's your duty to get it out of them. Then there is definition. So basically definition is like whatever your observations and findings are from those empathize exercises, from being present in those places, or from like interacting with the users, or from sharing their experiences. Write them down. There has to be some meaning to that. There has to be a pattern to the problems you want to solve, the problems the user is facing. Then you have to like find out the pattern. Then only you can get your thoughts in the right direction. Okay, there is this pattern, there is this particular problem, then I have to solve this. So from your observation and findings, you have to go through the synthesis stage. As I said, the observation and understanding. Then only you get the proper insights and opportunities. Okay, these are the problems particularly. These are the insights. This is the person's routine. This is what they feel like. This is what they say. And then only you will get the opportunities. Understand that it's never a problem. It's an opportunity or a solution. Only then you can make a good solution, an innovative solution, something good. So basically that's it. Like, who was the person? What surprised you? What did you learn from them? What did you find inspiring? Look for patterns in them. Look for like potential things that they have not seen it yet. Uh, they have not seen it yet. Then whatever, like for example, you have like the digital classroom problem. Okay, so the patterns you can see, like there may be patterns of students' understandings. There may be patterns of how someone takes down notes. There may be patterns of how inquisitive the students are, or how hard they find it to grasp any concept, or how quickly they grasp any concept, right? And I think most of you are college students and have faced the different things, especially in college, because a huge amount of you like to bunk classes or fool around in classes. I'm just being blatantly honest. So try to find those patterns and create buckets. Okay, so for example, creating buckets is important in the sense that there may be problems, like for example, how someone takes down notes, how someone responds, and how someone maybe understands a topic. These three are three different problems you can see. But while you are trying to find patterns, you find out that okay, somehow these three are connected to whatever the, like to a single problem or a single category, that is, the student is not able to interpret whatever the teacher is writing or whatever the teacher is saying. So all these three problems come inside one bucket, that is the teacher's delivery. That is the actual problem. So like this, you can categorize all your problems in small buckets. And then when you get your like buckets, then you can prioritize them. Like, you can't solve all 100 of problems at once, right? You can't get it right, or you can't get it done. So you have to prioritize, like whatever solution you are thinking, it has to solve one primary problem, one MVP, most minimum viable product first. You have to solve that particular critical problem. Then you add another solution to another problem that you find a bit lesser in priority than the primary problem that you are trying to solve. It may be tangential, it may be parallel, but you have to assign the priority, assign the hierarchy. Then only you can try solving it. And when you get those buckets in the right priority, you will be able to form a statement, a proper definition of whatever you are trying to do. I am trying to make a digital classroom for nursery students who have special abilities, who have abilities like color blindness, who are abilities like hearing weakness. So these kind of things, you will be able to form proper statements with it. That will be the definition. Is it clear up till now? Any questions, any queries? Feel free to ask. Nothing? Okay. Then maybe I will have to give you guys some exercise to understand proper classroom way. But okay, इतना सब तो हो गया. एम्पथाइज भी कर लिया लोगों के साथ, डिफाइन भी कर लिया प्रॉब्लम क्या है, बट उसके बाद क्या? What next? What's next in the UX 101, UI UX 101? What's next in design thinking? It comes how might we? That will solve all your problems. This is like Brahmastra of designers. How might we? But what is that? I think you guys get a sense of how might we basically solve a problem. How might we is basically that. So how might we is like, how might I, for example, I am solving the problem. So how might I design a digital classroom, such as a person, a nursery kid who has a hearing weakness can understand whatever the teacher is delivering clearly. How might I create a digital classroom experience that a person, or like that a nursery kid with maybe color blindness can interpret whatever the teacher is writing on the board, or whatever the teacher is drawing on the board, any diagrams with different colors. This is the how might we trick. This is the proper, like you had your definition, like I want to solve this problem. How might we is answer to your definition. How might we will bring you closer to your solution, your objective, your goal. So how might we start with a point of view or problem statement. Basically, as I said, like the user, fill in the user's name, needs to do XYZ task because they have this. So the user, for example, here nursery kids need to understand their classroom lectures because, or like in lectures clearly because they have some kind of special ability. Now, like this, there won't be one single problem statement, one single point of view. There will be many. There will be many based on like different special abilities that the kids might have. Then you break down this point of view, they break down this problem statement into granular pieces so that you can get smaller actionable pieces, like break the larger problem statement into smaller pieces. So basically, I have to make the delivery somehow interpretable to the nursery kid who has a hearing weakness, somehow audible to the kid who has a hearing weakness, or I have to make it easier for the colorblind kid to understand the different color code the faculty is using. Hypothetical problem statement, because like in like special childs have special classrooms for them, but I am taking a hypothetical statement. So you have to then break it into smaller pieces. Then only you can get, okay, this is the problem. The first category is I have to solve for color blindness. Second is I have to solve for hearing disabilities. I have to solve for speech disabilities. I have to solve for demographic differences, etc. So this is the step 2. The step 3 is then you will be able to write the proper how might we statement, like how might we design a digital board from which, or like for a nursery kid with color blindness, so that he or she can understand the different colors or the different color coding. Now then, after you have framed all these how might we statements, and again there will be there can be as many as thousands of how might we's, because a product or a proper solution cycle is very long. Then you have to decide is which way to move forward. Once you brainstorm how might be statements as many as possible, you can decide to move the path ahead, like which path to go, which path to choose, which one to choose first, which one to choose second, and how to switch between the paths. So this is the how might be. Okay, so this is all about the proper part of the UI UX 101, that is the design thinking thing. I know you may have come here with expectation like, okay, Figma सिखाया जाएगा, okay, design terminologies को लेके बात किया जाएगा, okay, like aesthetics को लेके बात किया जाएगा, color theory को लेके बात किया जाएगा. But until and unless you learn to think the right way, na, you can never use any of those complicated theories, any of those complicated keywords, any of those softwares, anything in the right way to make the right thing. Design thinking is a practice. UI UX 101. The design thinking is a practice. It's a habit. It's a way of lifestyle. You have to slowly practice it and like what can I say? Like imbibe it into your soul. Then only you can do the right solution. You can make the right solution. You can solve the right problems. You can create the real impact.